The viral version of Destiny's course that the whispery slaves so brutally execute is not an attempt at forcing the original timeline to unfurl as it first did. All those countless lives are murdered, Gaia is defiled, time, space, reality is but a macabre play because the adopted children of alien non-life enforce the very mortal, short-sighted obsession of a leashed, one-winged angel. Why do the feelers respond instantly to Cloud remembering something before he should, but not so to anyone else? Even Aerith, the Quizak provokes a more delayed reaction. The Whispers, whom at the dawn of Remake had almost no identity before Nightmare. They were bodiless waveforms, the perfect stewards of Gaia. They'll never get bored or defiant or put themselves before one of Gaia's corporeal children. And there's no risk of them ever doing any of this, as they had no sense of self, no identity. And even after the horror through eternity began, until certain people decided they were writing their own scripts, until the battle for Seventh Heaven, the feelers embodied, half-lived, and executed their viral instruction set as mindless slaves. Nothing forced them to observe and think independently, to evolve. That changed when the screams of sacrifice echoed, setting the Whispers on an irrevocable path of inevitable awakening. The virus that consumes the once selfless Scions of Gaia, the impossibly old devourer of worlds and civilizations, is Genova, the necromancer mother who resides in many bodies across timelines and in between. But it's all the same Genova, no matter the host. She also exists in a zombie singularity that has no life of its own save to exist, just like a parasitical memory that the host cannot turn off. The host being Gaia. Genova has no identity. She only adopts identities to corrupt and control her hosts. She's a hive mind, an extragalactic virus, which is what allows her to be the true masterful terror endemic to all life, to existence. As just like the Whispers, she can exist in multiple timelines, and it's all the same monstrous ego, even in multiple bodies. The only other being to embody more than once in the same timeline is Cloud, and it took the collapse of a singularity for this to occur. Not even Aerith and Eris, or Sephiroth, in all his powerful splinter egos, can break this seeming law of space-time. Genova has no concept of life, other than as a mechanistic parody, a useful tool for her desire to exist and spread. Though she can possess almost any mind she touches, so complete is her molding of her host's ego. She ate a civilization without any notion that so wholly doing so deprives her of a food source. This deranged adaptation to life and meaning tinges everything she's in, from heroes to angels, to her understanding of causality. The Whispers, the slaves in body and mind to that extragalactic virus, are singularly obsessed with one person's consciousness and journey, purely relative to cold snapshots, like zombie memories, within what that journey was long ago, without any understanding of the emotional relevance of those moments, why they occurred the way they did, because the viral instructions come from a virus. However, the conception that these adopted viral commands will somehow force a timeline towards a rancid singularity of memory, of existence, which inevitably they do not, as every time the Whispers interfere, they're changing the moments that the heroes live in. This misguided misconception comes from identity. Sephiroth, whom in a way is the father to the Whispers of Remake, who is obsessed with Cloud, and whom after the events of Final Fantasy VII relies on the emotions of people's memories of him to exist, especially Cloud. Ephemeral murderers. They're obsessed with Cloud, not the original timeline. The only exception to this oft counterproductive and blind spot-inducing hyper-focus on the Mako warrior. The only instance when the Whispers act preemptively, meaning their attention was on someone else and not just reacting to the situation around Cloud, is when an outside force interferes and becomes a threat to Cloud's experience. Someone in the original memory dying prematurely, or living a little too long. A Quizak Haderach meddling in the consciousness of a timeline. Someone who was in the Whispers blind spot, but then did something to earn their unfortunate attention. Save for these exceptions, anything that does not directly challenge Cloud's consciousness, experience, and Remake, relative purely to a litany of isolated corpse memories, is either not responded to, or at most the response is delayed. Wedge surviving his fall from the Sector 7 platform, all of Avalanche attacking Shinra Tower, Reno and Rude off picking their boss up in a helicopter instead of waiting at the top of an elevator before the memorable blood trail scene, Palmer being menaced in a hallway, President Rufus just being confronted until he's hanging precariously. The Whispers either do not respond, or the response is extremely delayed. When a helicopter crashed to nearly kill Marlene and possibly Aerith, the Whispers did not immediately respond, or at all. Fortunately, the crash harmed neither, but there was no way for the Feelers to know this. However, when another helicopter would crash into our beloved heroes, there is no delay in action. The Whispers are watching. In the Sector 5 church, this nameless guard would never have harmed Aerith with Reno there. And Aerith did fall in the original timeline, but it did not matter. That nameless guard was never going to touch her. The Whispers are watching. Screams through eternity are elicited from the Feelers, the slaves, by the nightmare macabre Mother Genova. But this hyper-intelligent transdimensional virus gains its bodily understanding of timelines, memory, realities, and the cosmic weave between it all, primarily from Sephiroth, whom lives on Cloud's very emotions regarding him. In the singularity of zombie-like existence, an extra-spatial stuck memory that would only be tolerable if you have no identity to experience it, where all that is Genova ends, and the splinter cells, egos of Sephiroth begin, cannot be said. Identity.